Welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be a combination of DIY and vlog style. Zayden had his birthday party over the weekend and I wanted to show you guys how I made his shirt, how I made his cake, and how I decorated for the party. So if you guys would like to see how everything came together, then just keep on watching. So first I'm going to start out with making his shirt. You're going to need a plain white shirt. This is just from Walmart, the Garanimals brand. You need a magazine to put in between the shirt to protect the back of the shirt and your surface. This is the Apple Barrel acrylic paint in the shade Flag Red. Then I have the same brand acrylic paint in Jet Black. Then I also have some Puffy paint, and this is also in black. I'm just going to show you guys a few paintbrushes, even though I don't think I use all of these in the video, but I just got these from Walmart. And then I have a printout of a number 3. This I just went on Word, picked out a 3 that I thought would go good with the pattern I wanted, and then I printed it out, made it big so that I could kind of go off of that. So the first thing I'm going to do is put this magazine inside the shirt, and this, like I said, is just to make sure that the paint doesn't transfer to the back of the shirt, as well as so the paint doesn't get onto whatever surface area you're working on. Then I'm going to take the pencil that I showed you guys and I'm going to start drawing the 3 onto the shirt. You can't really see it on camera, but in person you can see it. And I tried really hard to make the 3 look exactly like the one in the picture, but because fabric is not smooth and paper is, it was kind of hard to get it exactly similar, but I do like the way that the 3 I made turned out.
Start dancing, ho.
So once I'm done tracing with the pencil, I'm going to go in with that jet black acrylic paint, and I'm going to take this flat angled paintbrush and I'm just going to outline the 3 that we just made. And this doesn't have to be perfect or precise or anything. This is just going to be the base for us to be able to put down the puffy paint later. Once I'm done outlining the 3, I'm going to go ahead and take that Flag Red acrylic paint, and this is just like a flat, fluffy paintbrush. It's easier to paint larger surfaces with this one, and I'm just going to fill in the inside of the 3 with the red. This doesn't really have to be perfect or precise either, since we are going to be going back over that with the puffy paint, but you do want to stay within the black line as much as possible because you don't want to have to make the puffy paint line too thick at the end if you go outside of the lines. Once I've finished filling everything in with the red paint, I'm going to go in with that black puffy paint and I am going to outline the 3.
Start dancing, ho.
And here you guys can see some of my nerdy little concentration phase. So once I'm done outlining with the puffy paint, I'm just going to use this little drawing that I made to kind of have as a guideline for my pattern. And I'm going to take a super small paintbrush, like this is pretty much like a pencil tip paintbrush, I would call it, and I'm just going to use that black acrylic paint and I'm going to start outlining the pattern of the spider web. And I drew this out first just because for whatever reason spider webs have always been something that I've struggled with drawing, so I wanted to make sure that I had something that I could look off of to make sure that it came out looking okay. And then once I have finished with the paintbrush, I'm just going to go back in with the puffy paint and I'm going to go over all of the lines that I just drew with the paintbrush. So now comes the hard part for me, which is the actual webbing of the spider web. I'm just doing like a little curved line in between the straight lines in, like, I don't even know how to describe it. You can see it on video, but it's always really hard for me to get them equally spaced apart and make it look like it's a web. I don't know, but this one actually came out pretty good. I think it's because I had the little paper next to it to go off of, but pretty much you just want to make sure that all of your lines are connecting and that they are curved so it does look like a spider web. And then once you're done with that, the shirt is all done. So next we're going to get into baking the cake, and I had already made the first half of the cake, which is why my bowl looks like it has been murdered. But I'm just going to take this Pillsbury Funfetti in the color Radiant Red, and this is to make cakes or cupcakes. I'm just going to follow the instructions on the package and make the second half of the cake.
Start dancing, ho.
So once you're done mixing everything, you're just going to pour the cake batter into the cake pans, and then you're going to want to use one of the rubber spatulas just to make sure you get as much as possible of the mixture into the pan. And just to let you guys know, I did grease the bottom of the pans with cooking spray before I put the cake batter in there. And then once you're done getting everything in there, you're going to want to tap the cake pan on the counter. That's just going to help all the air bubbles rise to the top and get out of the cake, and it's going to help the cake bake evenly.
Start dancing, ho.
And then I'm just going to put these babies in the oven and let them bake for the specified baking time. So these have been sitting out cooling for about an hour now. They're cool to the touch, and that's how you know that they're ready to come out of the pan and how they're ready for the first layer of frosting. So the first layer you're going to put down upside down so that the round part is on the cake board, and I didn't even notice this until I was eating a piece of cake later that night after the party, but you're actually supposed to frost the first layer of the cake first and then do the second layer of the cake. I do usually do this. I don't know why I didn't do it this time, but yeah, you're supposed to do that. And then when you finally get the second layer of cake out, you are going to put this one right side up. That way the flat ends of the cake are touching each other. Then I'm going to take this Pillsbury frosting, and this one is also in the shade Radiant Red, or the color, whatever, and you're just going to frost the entire cake. But like I said, you're actually supposed to frost the first layer first. That way frosting will be inside the cake as well, and not just on the outside.
Start dancing, ho.
Once you're done frosting, you're going to pop it in the fridge overnight. That way the icing will be hardened for whenever you want to decorate it the next morning. So here's my cake the next morning. I'm going to be using Zayden's little Spider-Man hat as a guide. I'm going to take this frosting tip. I got it in like one of those little baking sets. I mean, you can see it on the stove. It comes with like a bunch of different frosting tops. And I'm just going to put that in the center because there is like a little circle in the center of Spider-Man's face. I guess it kind of helps with like the spacing of his eyes. Then I'm going to take a toothpick and I'm just going to draw out my line design as well as his eyes. Next, I'm going to go in with this black decorating icing from Wilton, and that's what I'm going to use to go over the toothpick lines that I just did. I'm just going to take a paper towel and kind of squeeze it out a little bit first, because you can see it's coming out really liquidy, and obviously you don't want that on your cake. So once it's coming out solid, I start to put it on my cake, but then I realize there's still a little bit of liquid drops, so I have to kind of erase the cake, and I'm just doing that by taking a paper towel and kind of getting the black off as best as I can. And then I'm going to take some of the red frosting and I'm going to smooth it back over that spot, and then I'm going to re-stamp the little circle tip, and then I'm going to re-toothpick my line. So it's kind of just like erasing a piece of paper. But anyways, once I make sure that the icing is going to come out solid, I go ahead and start doing my line work on the cake.
Start dancing, ho.
Once I'm done with that portion of the black, I'm going to go in with this cookie icing from Great Value, and this is just white, and I'm going to put this in the space where his eyes are supposed to be, and it's really liquidy, so it's easy to kind of maneuver and work with. So I'm just going to take a butter knife and spread the white icing until it is all over the eye part. Then I'm going to go in with the black decorating icing, and I am going to continue the webbing down the sides of the cake, and you'll see what I mean in the video. But I'm just going to do that all around everywhere the web goes off the edge of the cake. Next, I'm going to take this cake icing from Great Value, and I think these things are so cool. It's like a spray can of icing, and they come with different tips. I'm going to be using the star tip, so it makes like the little frilly pattern, and I am just going to squeeze this all around the perimeter of the cake. And this is going to help, you know, make it look a little bit more like Spider-Man because we're adding the blue in there, and it's also going to help the cake look more, I guess you could say, professional, because you're kind of hiding the imperfections on the cake board with the icing. And as you can see, like, I'm taking off a little bit of the mess of the red and just putting blue over it, and so it helps it look better. Next, we're going to get into the actual decorating. Everything that I got from the little party section in Walmart. This is just the happy birthday banner. I'm going to put this across the window, and I'm just going to be using tape to do that. Next, I'm going to be taking these streamers, and I got red, blue, and black, and I'm just going to put these above the happy birthday banner, and I'm not really cutting them precisely or anything. They are pretty much all different lengths. They're all just, you know, within the same length range, and I'm just going to put that above the window since I don't have like a curtain or anything up there, and it kind of looks bare. But you'll see what I mean in a minute whenever I actually get to it. But I actually did this for Zach's birthday because he didn't have a happy birthday banner and it looked really cute, so I figured I'd do it again for Zayden's. Next, I'm going to be putting up these dangling things. I really don't know what they're called, but they just hang from the ceiling. And once you pull them out of the package, you have to like break them apart so that they actually spiral down. I'm just going to be putting these all above the table area. I think 12 came in the package, but I only ended up using 11 because I like everything to be symmetrical, and the 12th one was just messing everything up. So I did it to where like the 3 Spider-Man heads were like in the center, and then everything else kind of fanned out from that. And it was a little bit hard to get these to stick up because we do have popcorn ceilings, but we made it work. So here is the finished dangly things. Then I'm going to take the streamers again and I'm going to put them above the entryway to the kitchen. And honestly, I don't really care if anybody sees inside the kitchen, but I felt like this was kind of a cool way to separate the party area from the kitchen. I also did this with Zach's party and I really liked it, so I did it again for Zayden's. I'm just alternating between the red, blue, and the black, and I'm going to go all the way across the door frame until it's kind of like a little streamer door. I think it's really fun and cute. So here is the doorway all finished. Then I am going to be putting up this little, it's supposed to go on like your front door to let people know that there's a party there, but our door was like smaller than the door thing, so I decided to put it on the wall behind like where the table is, and I felt like this was kind of a good way to tie the whole party area together. So it was kind of like a 360 type thing. And then, you know, if you had like other little kids there, ours was just like a family party, but if you had other kids, you could have like the kids stand in front of the Spider-Man picture and take a picture with him instead of, you know, just being outside on the door. So after playing around with it forever, I finally got it centered, and then I just taped it down, and voila. And this is really nothing, honestly. This is just something I've been doing for the past few years whenever I throw their birthday parties. I just get some of the cups that we're going to be using for, well, obviously we're not using these ones for drinking out of, but the drinking cups, and I'm just putting the silverware in the cups on the table that way that they're easy for people to kind of get to, and I'm just putting red and blue in each of the cups, that way it kind of ties in the Spider-Man theme. Next, I'm just putting together some fruit for the table. I'm just going to be cutting up some strawberries and putting them in the bowl, and then also putting some grapes in the bowls, which you will see later. Usually whenever I do their birthday parties, I try to have like some sort of food like chips or fruits, just so that everybody's not just coming there to eat cake if people do end up staying a little bit longer than just to sing happy birthday. So yeah, I do like to try and have fruit or like little finger foods like little sandwiches or pigs in a blanket or something just to tie people over. So this next clip is actually the same clip that I showed you in the beginning, but I just wanted to show it to you guys again so you could see how everything came together after I showed you how I did everything. So thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them in the comments section down below and I will make sure to answer them. And I hope to see you guys in my next video. Bye guys!
Happy birthday, dear Zayden. Happy birthday to you.
That was hard. Again.
Good.